Hi guys, it's Richard Joe here, CXL Certified Optimizer, and today I'm going to start sending you some long form content. And what I'm going to talk about is why systems beat goals in CRO and life. And for those who are new to conversion rate optimization, it's very easy to, just focus purely on goals. And basically, a goal is simply, I want to get from A to B. And the analogy for that would be, I want to lose 10 kilos in 3 months. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's fine to have goals. We've all got goals. But sometimes when you just hyper focus on the goals alone and not focus on the system of how to achieve that goal, it's very easy to sort of just run into throwing out sort of sporadic sort of actions without any sort of insights or learnings from feedback loops. And that's what systems give you. They provide you with a feedback loop mechanism whereby you've got inputs. I'll show you the system here. Here's a system here. So a system starts off with inputs, and the inputs go into this process, which is basically that triangle. Something gets done in that process, whatever it is, and then out pops the output. And the output provides a feedback loop in this system where you can get the output, say after a day or a week or month or years or whatever it is, and then the feedback loop, which is a very important aspect of this, is that you'll be able to know, okay, am I having good inputs and are my processes good in order to create the output. And if it's heading in the direction that you want, which is i.e. your goal, then keep doing what you're doing, or improve or double down on something that's improving that. And if it's not getting you where you want to go, then make iterations or maybe scrap the whole thing altogether and create a whole new system. So there it is. And again, going back to our weight loss analogy, nothing wrong with having systems, but I personally would focus the 80-20 of our effort and our actions and our time mostly on the system aspect of things rather than just purely the goals. Just going back to the weight loss example, you might have a goal of losing 10 kilos in 3 months. That's fine, that's the goal. But having a systems approach to that would be, okay, if I start off with exercising 3 days per week, going to the gym 3 days per week, and limiting my meals to 3 meals, low carb, low GI with high protein, what will that do? And basically you can say, well, with that systems approach, you can gather the feedback after, a week or 2 weeks at a time, weigh yourself on the scale, check your body fat ratios, and know from that feedback loop, am I increasing my weight? Or am I getting fatter? Or am I, losing weight, i.e. heading towards my goal? And that's the feedback mechanism which will enable you to know if you haven't reached your goal. Without that sort of systems approach, you'll just basically be throwing spaghetti at a wall and, have a very kind of, I would say very, in some ways it's quite a, sort of a funnel vision view. I just want to get that goal, but not applying systems thinking in there. So just going back to conversion rate optimization, it's very easy for a team that's just starting out, single individual starting out in the walking phase of CRO to think, okay, I want to increase, conversion rates by 10%. and then they'll just throw spaghetti at a wall, or just copy something of a case study of a blog, or just copy what other websites might be doing on a ecom website, whatever their niche is. But yeah, again, going back to systems, and that's where you're going to likely succeed. So yeah, just going back to what a CRO system is, and just to emphasize, it's what a system is. It's basically a repeatable process that leads to continual improvements, and you can do that by with a test after test approach, in which each test leads to hopefully continual improvements in your conversion rates. And like I said, every system has a component. You've got your inputs, your processes, and your outputs, and then your feedback. So you basically got these 4 processes, which all kind of intertwined, working together, and helping to let you know if you're heading in the right direction. So you could basically, as for simplicity's sake, you could say, well, my 4 components of this CRO system is 1, hypothesis generation. So basically, coming up with data-driven test ideas from GA4 analytics, your heat maps, recordings, user behavior, those sort of thing. And then you develop a prioritization framework, whether it's that's basically coming up with your test ideas, and you prioritize them in your backlog and whatever framework you use, whether it's ICE. I think CXL has their own framework. It's called PXL, Pi, whatever it is, as long as it's consistent and you adhere to it. And then you've got like a cadence of execution. So you might run X amount of tests per month, whether it's 3 tests or 5 or whatever it is. And then you get into that iterative feedback loop, like I've talked about, where you get the outputs of the inputs going into the system, and then that will inform you if you're heading in the right direction or not. And again, going back to the weight loss analogy, I want to lose, what was it, 10 kilos in 3 months. That's and without having that's a goal. If without having the system to achieve that, you're probably going to go around in circles, to be honest with you. So the good system, like I said, would be, I'm going to exercise 3 times per week, track my macros, have a high protein, low carb diet, and regularly weigh myself every week, which is part of that feedback loop. CRO based sort of system would be, you have your goal. We need a 10% lift in conversions. If you don't have a strategy, you're going to go nowhere. Like I said, systems based CRO would basically be, let's run 5 structured A/B tests per month and iterate based on the insights. So I'll just go through some kind of real life scenarios with you to kind of help you sort of think of this in like your own specific sort of context. So let's just say you're doing CRO on a ecom website. Cart abandonment's a really high sort of common issue that you find on that. So that's your problem, and your goal would be, I want to reduce cart abandonments by 3% in 3 months. Simple goal, right? Just doing that alone might go around in circles. You might hit it lucky, but probably not. Systems-driven approach would be, I'm going to regularly review the funnel drop-offs on a weekly basis, and I'm going to create surveys and get qualitative data to identify any sort of friction points, why users are abandoning the cart in this period of time, and then I'm going to do a structured or basically a structured test per sprint based on the starting, say your sprints every 2 weeks, let's say 1 or 2 tests per sprint, based on that data that you're getting. And then you're basically getting to a learning or iterating sort of process whereby instead of expecting every test to be the silver bullet that's going to give you that 10%, you'll know from each iterative test, are you heading in the right direction or the wrong direction? And from that, you'll get basically more consistent results. And if you know anything about the compound effect, it's very powerful. You'll know if you're going up in that right direction or down or just stagnant or whatever, and that will guide you if your system's good. So I'll just quickly go about how you build a CRO system, and there's 3 steps that you can implement today. So basically, first thing is to set up a process and decide on your testing cadence. Like, how often do you want to test? If you're working on a fortnightly sprint, you might do 1 or 2 tests per sprint, and it really depends on your CRO maturity and how much traffic going to the site and those sort of things, and bottlenecks of engineers. I won't go into too much detail. And then you also want to create a knowledge base of your learnings. I'm very big on learnings and not just trying to win a test, just to please all your stakeholders. Like, you really want to know, like, am I learning, what am I learning about my audiences and helping to make a better experience for the customer instead of just forcing this, forcing a result out of it. And then you want to have a iteration or commitment to continuous improvement. It's what I call Kaizen, Japanese word Kaizen, Google it. And, each basically it's a mindset of viewing each step as a test. Each test as a step towards that sort of continual improvement process. And like I said, get that feedback loop from the test. Like, is that positive or negative or what? Like, is it heading in the direction you want to go to according to your goal, or is it going the wrong way? So, just want to reiterate that CRO isn't just about hitting these quick wins and batting for the fences and throwing Hail Mary tests without any sort of proper process involved in that. But it's good CRO is about building systems that deliver results and create some sort of systemized process that we can have some sort of consistency in how we do things. So, if you like this video, leave any comments that you like. Let me know, like, what's one CRO system you've put in place. And yeah, if you've liked the comment, like and subscribe. I'm going to be throwing out more content that's as high quality as I can. It's going to be pretty lo-fi, just on my phone for now, with very little to no editing. And if you're running an eCommerce store, download the free ebook that I've got on my site. Thanks.